Good morning, fifth grade online learners. We are talking about moving materials and plants. And this was yesterday's lesson about moving materials. And often when we learn in science about different terminology, it'll repeat in the next lesson. So this is what I got from Monday's website, some information. I was just going to review, and it may sound familiar. Photosynthesis. Plant cells obtain energy through a process called photosynthesis. This process uses solar energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into energy in the form of carbohydrates. It is a two-part process. First, the energy from solar radiation is trapped in the plant. Secondly, that energy is used to break down carbon dioxide and form glucose. The main energy molecule in plants is glucose. Plants, algae, and some bacteria use photosynthesis to create energy used for growth, maintenance, and reproduction. Chloroplast. Chloroplasts are organelles functioning units within the cells where the photosynthesis reaction occurs. These organelles, located in the leaf and stem of the plants, contain a protein-rich fluid where most energy-attaining process of photosynthesis takes place. Photosystems. Inside the chloroplast, chemical solar energy is absorbed in pigment molecules that are arranged in groups called photosystems. Energy is transferred to cells as light travels through these photosystems. The energy is transferred as electrons. And by the way, the information I'm giving you, there's much more on the website. I'm just giving you some highlights. Chlorophyll. Inside each photosystem are many pigment molecules. 200 green pigment molecules called chlorophyll make up the majority of these molecules. The parts of a plant where photosynthesis takes place are easily identified by their green color. This color is the result of chlorophyll in the photosystems. Respiration. The energy collected in the chloroplast is used during cellular respiration. During cellular respiration, tricky word, the energy from glucose made during photosynthesis is used to produce energy molecules for growth and reproduction. The products of respiration and energy molecules, carbon dioxide and water. That's the products. The carbon dioxide and water produced are transferred back to the chloroplast where they are again used for photosynthesis. Cellular respiration takes place in another organelle called mitochondria. Here, the energy obtained from glucose produced in the chloroplast is created and stored for future use by the plant. Microphyls. Rather than true leaves, mosses have microphyls. These leaf-like structures with a single unbranched vein evolved from tiny bits of tissue found on the stems of leafless, more primitive plant forms. Gametophytes. The gametophyte is a dominant phase in the life cycle of moss plants. This is the form of the plant most people are familiar with since it is often seen carpeting trees, rocks, and other parts of the forest floor. Photosynthesis takes place in the gametophyte phase. Sporophytes. Moss reproduces by the creation of spores held within the sporophytes. These sporophytes have no photosynthetic capabilities, so they are dependent on the gametophytes for nutrition needs. And here's some of the words I've been saying, just so you can see the correct spelling and how they're a little bit hard to pronounce at times. Microphylls, gametophytes, sporophytes. On the front, we had respiration, chlorophyll, photosystems, chloroplast, and photosynthesis. So of all those words, you're probably most familiar with photosynthesis. And in the book, again, you can see all the mosses and green that grow on the sides of hillsides and rocks, and mosses and liverworts. That's kind of what we're talking about. And this page shows a trunk and a stem. And lastly, this page showed how water flows upward through transpiration. So that's all stuff we talked about yesterday. We did go over the main ideas yesterday. There's always some good activities over here if you were looking for something extra. Here's one of them. Mix several drops of food coloring into the beaker of water. Place a tall celery stalk into the beaker. After every 5 minutes, measure the height that the colored water traveled up the celery. Make a graph to show the data. What conclusion can you draw from your results? Writing, expository. Research the story of maple syrup. Write an essay that shows how maple syrup is made, packaged, and delivered to your table. If you decided to do either one of those, you could use that in place of a journal entry also. So if you, I found today's website to be pretty good, but if you didn't enjoy it as much as I did, you can always, I know you don't all have your books there, but you can try that celery trick if you have celery and food coloring at home. And you can try the other trick, which was just writing a story about maple syrup. Okay, 5th grade, hopefully you enjoyed today's video lesson, and we will see you tomorrow.